Hey up now then, good evening, or good whatever time it is wherever you are. Welcome to Jamie TV, streaming 100% live on YouTube. Can you just let me know in the chat if you can hear my voice alright and if you can hear the guitar alright? It's always just that little bit of anxiety when you start the stream, just wanting to know that everything sounds okay and everything's working all right. All good. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you very much, Vortex. Loud and clear. Marvelous. Hello, Dave. Dave is I'm waving over there off camera, right? I'm waving to the chat because I'm a stupid old hippie. Hello, Dave. Dave is the developer of this app, and he has very nicely joined us in the chat. So if there's anything about it that I don't know, because I don't claim to know everything about life, the universe and everything, if there's anything that I don't know, then obviously you can ask Dave in the chat. I've been using this app for a little while now. I had it as a beta, and I like it. You know, it's a good app. I'm going to show you all around it so that you can make up your own mind what you think to it. But before I do that, let's just have a look who's here. So we've got and by the way, I know I don't normally stream at this time, but the thing is I'm going to be away next week. I'm not going to be doing a stream on the Thursday, and I've got a couple of videos to get out, and so I needed to do something with this one because I think it's great, and I like to show off apps that I think are worthwhile you bringing your attention to. So I thought I'll do a stream and and get it done before I go away. So hence the random stream time, and I was very, very careful not to clash with anyone else who streams, because the problem with streaming at the moment is trying not to clash with anyone. All right, so we've got Ed in the chat, we've got Vortex, Samuel, we've got Grant, we've got Dave, of course, and Paul is here, and Wall is here, and Jade is here. Hi Jade, thank you for being here. Alright, so let me talk you through this amp, or this app rather. Now, the way that this app works is it's basically two screens. This is your main screen, and if I press the three little dots up here, we have the other screen. Right, so that one is kind of your menu options, and that is where you get your presets, and everything else is here. Now, first of all, before I forget, let me tell you, one thing that I love about this app is it has a tuner on it. Now, it's amazing how many goddamn apps, especially apps intended for guitar players, don't have a tuner on them. I mean, why? We like to play in tune most of the time, and they don't have them. But this one is quite cool, because if I press this up here, I have a tuner that is silent, because I've activated this button in here to make the tuner silent. So let's say if you were using this, and you were using this in a live setting, which is very, very plausible, and you wanted to be able to just put the tuner on and be silent and tune up while the singer's wobbling on about himself like they normally do, then you can do that. Or you can turn that off and you can tune with sound, whatever floats your boat. I like it off. So to activate the tuner, we simply press this button here, and the tuner takes over this little window at the top, and it's a good tuner, it does a good job, can't fault it. And I can't remember whether I actually tuned my guitar today, so let's just give it a quick, there we are. Okay, tuner off. Back to sound. Now, one thing I will say about this app is it does clean sounds staggeringly well. It does also do dirty sounds, and it makes some very usable standard kind, you know, the typical sounds that you might need as a guitar player in a band, right? In a sort of an obvious band doing obvious songs. But it also can do some slightly more extreme sounds, and we like that too, you know, because we do like to play around. So let me talk you through the amp face first. Basically, and you could probably see this without me saying a single thing about it, we have basically an amp face with the reverb and cabinet included, and then we have a set of pedals. Excuse me, sorry. Let me just turn off my mic while I have a cough. Excuse me, pressing all the wrong buttons as well. Sorry about that. Right, now, one thing I will say about this app, right, is that the chorus pedal is orange and chorus pedals are blue. You know, and phase pedals are orange. But apart from that, it's pretty damn good. So, let's have a look here. Now, we start on the left with a trim, so if you need to adjust the amount of input that you are putting into the amp, you can adjust it with the trim here. And here we have an indication of the amount of guitar going into the amp. Let's just change sound. I just want to go to a nice, I'm going to go to the menu, factory presets. No, actually, no, not that one. One of mine. Where is it? This one. There. Okay. Right. And I'm just going to take off. The compressor. Yes. Okay. Right. I just want all the pedals off for the moment. Right, so here's the indication of the amount of guitar level going into the amp, and then we've got a fairly typical setup, right? We've got what you'd expect to see on the face of an amp, which is good because that's what we're used to. So we've got the gain here, and if I want to wind that up to a sort of slightly dirtier thing, what I'm going to do is pull the master down first, wind on some gain, then bring the master up, and we have an edgier sound. Okay, now we've got the bass, middle and treble, of course, and presence. You know, when I was a nipper and I first started fooling around with amplifiers and trying to get a sound out of one, I was confused between what the difference was between the treble and the presence, and that was because my amplifier was shite, right? And that was the problem. And I thought it was me. Hang on a minute, who's talking about Yamaha QY20? Stephen, why are you talking about Yamaha QY20? Do you know I had, no, you're talking about a QY10. I had a QY20, and I loved it, right? It was brilliant. It was like this big, and I could sequence all kinds of stuff with it, and I had tons of fun with it. And I went and did a demo in a studio with a proper producer, and I'd demoed all my stuff with sounds from the QI20, plus I'd like recorded that into a 4-track and added guitar and vocals and stuff, and the producer actually used some sounds from the QI20 in the mix because he said he didn't have anything better. And I really wish I still had it. I can't remember what I did with it, but I was actually looking at the QY stuff on eBay recently thinking, oh, you know, maybe I could pick up a QY20 if I see one going cheap, you know, or a similar QY device. But they don't sell cheap, sadly. So I still don't have one. Anyway, right, that's got absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So let's get back to it. I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, right, so treble and presence. The presence is really, really effective, and it does give you that sort of, it adds to the bite really nicely without it being too harsh. It's very, very effective. Now the reverb is quite gorgeous, and so here we adjust the amount of it, and here we adjust the decay. So let me bring the decay down just so I can show you this, right? So let's have a sort of sensible amount of reverb. In fact, you know, with reverb, the thing to do is switch it all the way off, or you can't tell that there's any on until you switch it back on, right? So let's do that. Put some reverb back on. Alright, so there's a sensible amount of reverb. Now I'm going to extend that decay. There. Right, now that is... bogus chord to pick right there, but anyway, doesn't matter. Right, so it's what the reverb sounds like that matters, and a good enough reverb can cover up some really, really shoddy chord choices. So let's have some more reverb now. There, right, and then let's go for a stupidly long decay. I'm just going to let you listen to that, right? I mean, that's lovely. That's really, really nice. One thing I was never ever interested in at all until fairly recently was those kind of ambient guitar things, you know, just kind of long extended chords and lovely washy reverb, and you know, just kind of letting something ring out, letting something sustain. And a lot of the time with guitar software, that is an incredibly difficult thing to do because it tends to be a bit on the noisy side. Like, I'm just in the middle of editing a video about Numbrini's new app, the DC30, which is of course an emulation of the AC30. And hello Joe, thank you for being here. And yes, and I lost the plot. Hi Si. Lost the plot again. Yes. Oh yes, so I'm editing this video right about the DC30. Now the DC30 actually surprised me because you can actually get a really, really nice clean sound out of it without any fizz and noise, which you can't really say for all of those kinds of apps. Now if you were looking for an app that would specialize really in those lovely clean sounds, if you want to be able to have a guitar that sounds like it's going through an amp but doesn't have dirt and doesn't have fizz and noise and unpleasantness in there at all, then I would say that this is definitely the app to go for. And you know, add to that the fact that the reverb sounds so nice and that you can get that really lovely long tail length off of it. I'm gonna say that for that kind of thing, this is the app, definitely. Okay, now next to the reverb, now I'm probably not on the best sound actually to show you this, so I'll show you this briefly and we'll come back to this in a bit. But just in this little window here, we can choose a cabinet. Now when I first clicked on this, I thought, well, we can choose from 6 cabinets, that's nice, you know, the app's only 20 quid, it's nice to be able to choose your cabinet. But then you select a cabinet and you can choose where you want the mic to be, whether it's close mic'd, edge mic'd or room mic'd. Now anyone who knows anything about miking up a guitar will know that that makes a staggering amount of difference to the guitar sound. So I'll just show you very quickly, because I'm not on the best sound for this, and I'm not done with this sound. So let's just change this one to a room mic. No, like I said, I'm really not on the best sound to show you this. You can hear that there's a difference. But on a different sound. Actually, no, let me scrub that. I'm going to do it now. Right, so let's just get rid of this over the top reverb. Right, a bit more reverb than that maybe. Okay, right, now, so we've got plenty of gain on the front end, we've got the master up, and we've got no effects on at all. We've got a British 2x12 cabinet room mic'd. Let's swap that for a vintage 110 edge mic'd. Right, and let's pick another one. Let's go with a Rock 4x12 close mic'd. Right, it makes quite the difference, and it's really nice to have that. Modeling is what it is, and it's good. Classic 112. Let's just have a bit more volume here. I was playing this thing earlier, right? And I was like, what is that? What is that? That is, I think, Mott the Hoople, I think. Yeah, that pickup would have been better. Okay, what we're saying in the chat. Stephen says, but can it do Gary Moore's Parisian Walkways convincingly? And Wall says, over the top reverb, he says it was hardly there. Really? You're not hearing that reverb? Well, I'm going to put it back on in a minute and you will definitely hear it, I promise. Okay, so let's kind of re-engineer where we were. Right. Stephen says it went a lot of reverb. Let's have a lot of reverb. Just want to show you how much it can do. Yeah, you can hear that. Sounds awesome, doesn't it? I'm made up with that reverb. That's great. It's wonderful. Right, I'm just going to take it back a little bit, not too much, because it's quite marvelous. Can I just say to you that every now and again I'm hearing some noise from somewhere, a bit of interference. I'm not sure what it is, so I really don't know what to do about it. It seems to be intermittent, and I don't think it's too bad, but maybe you're not hearing it, I don't know. But let me know. That 110 cab is captured from a Princeton Reverb reissue. Yeah, I can see that. That's good to know, Dave. That's good to know. I can see that. Okay, right, so let's have a look through the effects and whatnot. Right, so we've got or should I do the menu-y thing? I'm going to do the menu-y thing actually, because I've got this fear that I may forget it. So what we'll do is, to get into the menu, like I showed you earlier, to get into the other page, and I do think it's nice, right, to have a guitar app that has quite a lot of functions where basically the interface is all on one page, and then all we're going over here for is to select a preset or to change something from the menu. Now in the menu you can sync to tempo. I haven't actually used that yet, but I presume that is if you were playing along to a track and you want the delay to play in time to the tempo of the track, like most guitar apps with delays on do that. So I'm that's my guess of what that is. I promise I've not actually used it yet. I've not used this in the track. I've just been really enjoying just playing it, just guitar. So Dave, tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me what it does do. Okay. This is the switch for silent tuner or not silent tuner. We've got a feedback killer here. I used that earlier. I experimented with that. I'll try and remember to show you that when we get onto a more gainy kind of a sound. And then now I have to be honest here. The bottom switch says enable sorting, and I have absolutely no idea what that does. I did switch it on. It didn't seem to do anything, so I don't know what that does. So Dave, do please tell us in the chat what enable sorting button does. I think that's the only thing that I really don't know about the app. Okay, and what we can do in this section here, we've got kind of two windows. Over here we select a bank of presets, and the presets in the bank appear in this window here. So we've got the factory presets that it comes with here, and here we've got the Jamie tones, the presets that I've made up for myself, and you know, which I've really enjoyed doing. My presets, by the way, for apps wherever it's possible to, I make them available for people to download at my Patreon account. So all the things I make for Mixbox and Embrini, the Bliss apps, everything, wherever it's possible to share a preset, I do share it to my Patreon account. I don't think I can share from here, Dave. If I'm wrong about that. Oh, hang on, he's telling us kill feedback. That's only if you use a cheap headphone style interface. Yes, yeah, okay, I get that. Or possibly if you have your headphones up far too loud because you're a bit deaf and a stupid old hippie. Enable sorting lets you reorder the presets and banks by dragging them. Oh, see what? Right, okay, so we're in Jamie tones here, so I can't mess anything up. Enable sorting, and can I drag that now? Is it? That's where I'm getting that noise. It's when I'm touching the screen. So, oh yeah, right, and I can drag it and move it. Marvelous. Yes. Okay. So that's what that does. Thank you, Dave. Marvelous. I now know everything about the app. Alright, so I've now selected a different preset, and I was kind of working on one then, so I've kind of messed up now. I called this one dear, can't talk, Ball and Boogie, because I thought it sounded kind of good for T-Rex stuff. That's pretty cool. Right, to get back to where I was then, I think I'm going to have to maybe sort of, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to do it again, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to, we'll start with that sound, just how easy it is to dial in an awesome sound. Right, so I want to make sure that all my pedals are off, and I've got a fairly standard clean sound there, maybe a tiny bit more gain, and bring up the master a little bit. Let's have a look at some pedals. You know, I'm no different than any other things with strings player. I just love pedals. I think one of the nice things about pedals is, you know, when you kind of yes Stephen, Get It On, yeah. I've probably played Get It On more times in bands than any other song, because it was the first song I ever learned how to play when I was a little kid. There was this beaten up old acoustic in the house, because my parents were in a band. And actually, the truth is, you might think, oh, well, that's why he's all into music then and knows how to play stuff and everything. But actually, it doesn't really have very much to do with that. But my parents were in a band, and they actually decided to give up being in a band when they found out that they were going to have me. So by the time I was born, it was all over. But there were instruments in the house, and so I did have the opportunity to play on instruments as a nipper, but I was never, you know, like that bothered. I used to pick it up and play it a bit, and I enjoyed it, and then I might just not touch it anything for months at all. And my mum was a really nice piano and organ player, but she showed me bits, but I really never took that much advantage of it. I really should have. You've seen my keyboard playing, so it's pretty basic. So yeah, so there was this beaten up old acoustic in the house, and I picked it up. Get It On was always on the radio or on the stereo when I was little, and I remember picking up this old acoustic, and I just went like this, and I went, and I thought that's that song. It's that song, and I'm nearly there. And I got that riff down really quickly. It was probably about 5 or 6 or something on this crappy acoustic. That's the only thing I could play for years. And of course it has the second guitar part that goes like that. Now if you play just one of those guitar parts, if you're in a one guitar band, it doesn't sound like T-Rex, so I'll go like this. Which is my attempt at playing something that sounds like both parts together. I do that for various T-Rex songs, which I'll shut up now and not bore you with that anymore. But anyway, right, so the nice thing about pedals, that's where I was. The nice thing about pedals is that when you kind of feel like you've probably bought too many things with strings already, then, you know, or you're just simply running out of room for them, then you can buy pedals, and they're only this big and they're a bit cheaper. And they're exciting. Although chorus pedals, Dave, are blue. Anyway, the gate is really effective, and I've really hardly asked about with it. All I've ever really done with the gate is to switch it on, right? And no more guitar noise. If you're a singer and you're talking to the audience, it's perfect. And when it drops below a certain level, it will just cut off the sound. Marvellous. Why has Mixbox not got one of them? Or has it got one now? Is Jade still here? We have a bit of an annoyance about that. I did hear that they were going to add one, but I don't know if they've added one yet. Anyway, so that's the gate, right? And it's marvellous. And of course, if you've got a more noisy sound, you can dial it up more. The compressor is wonderful. It works brilliantly, but there's something about it I need to tell you. Right, so I'm just going to switch it on. The compressor does a wonderful. I mean, there's nothing finer than a really effective one knob compressor, because compression is a ball ache. It is the most boring thing in the universe to arse about with and try and get right. But if you get it right, then it really revolutionizes your sound. And being a bass player first, that is something that I heard like all of my early part of my career. People were always saying what you really need is a good compressor. And it's all right, you know, having a good compressor, but you've got to know how to use the good compressor. And of course you don't know what a good compressor is, so you buy several that are crap, and they just put you off arsing around with it even more. That tone you have right now would sound great with the British 212 edge cab, would it? I'll try that then, Dave. Okay, so and that, if I can just give my own signature compressor a little plug, right? I promise not to dwell on it. I don't have one to hand at the moment. I'm actually sat in the dark, so there is one here, but I can't see it. So let me just do that before I... British 212 edge cab. Right. Oh yeah, that is nice, Dave. Right, I'm going to change that sound setting. Let me just take these off. No, I'll leave gate on. Right, and to save my setting, I just go to the menu. Ball and Boogies is highlighted, so I just press save. Overwrite selected preset. Yes, okay. Right, so now my new version of that sound is saved. Marvellous. Yes, that's brilliant. Thank you, Dave. I like that. Yes, Jade, you're here. Have IK Multimedia added a noise gate to Mixbox yet? Is my question, because I haven't looked at it for a couple of weeks. I heard they were adding one. I don't know if it's arrived yet. Yes, so the compressor, my signature compressor is basically a one knob compressor. You dial in how much compression you want, and it blends into your sound. And then you have an adjustment knob for the volume, because it's also got a switch on it for overdrive. So you can switch in some like front end gain. If you want one of those bass players, if you're one of those bass players who wants like that slightly dirty, bitey front end sound, it's the perfect circuit for that. And you just you switch it on and you dial in as much of that sound as you want, but as you do that, it takes the volume up. So there is a little volume control, so you can bring it back down and level it out. Or that gives you the opportunity to use that pedal as a boost pedal, if you know, that might float your thing. Ideally, actually, what you should do is buy two of them and use one as your regular sound and one as your boost sound. That's what I do. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, right, compressor. So a one knob compressor that sounds great is an absolute godsend, because compression is a pain in the arse to set up. Now what this will do is crush the sound, but it does it in a very musical way. It's, you know, like some compressors sound just like, it's just that awful squashed sound. This doesn't do that. It really is focusing just on the highs and lows, and the actual signal itself remains as it should. But what it does do is it takes up the volume. So now I've got a pretty loud sound, so I'm just going to take the master down a bit to compensate. Might be slightly out of tune, but we're okay for now. Right, now we move along to the drive, and the drive is pretty special. It's basically, this is off. Behave. Right, that's off. Okay, and then we've got dirty, and then we've got fuzz. So off, or essentially overdrive, or fuzz. So in the middle position we've got drive, which is going to give us this. I might need to take the master down to compensate for this drive going up. So let's wind on some overdrive. I've got my headphone lead stuck behind my guitar, and I went for a chord, and I couldn't move any further without my headphones yanking off. So, so it was not just shoddy playing. Okay, so checking the chat. Can you move the pedals? Oh, you mean like change the order, Paul? That's a really good question. I don't think so. No, I don't think you can. Dave will tell you anyway. Dave's in the chat. He made the thing. It might be a nice idea. Of course, the order that you put guitar pedals in a chain, and drastically, I've forgotten how to speak, drastically affect the way the overall effect that you get. Right? And actually putting them in a stupid order can create interesting sounds that you might never have thought, that you might get. But from what I can tell in this app, they seem to work in the standard order, the way that the most sensible way that you would set up pedals, although they are not laid out in that way on the board, because if it was up to me I would have reverb at the end, but of course reverb is on the amp face, and I would have delay next to the end, and I would have chorus before that. But they seem to work in the way that Dave says no, you can't move the pedals. Jade says I really wish you could. Paul says it's not a major problem, it's just a thought. Well, it's a good thought, Paul. It's a good thought. So anyway, I don't know what I'm playing or what I'm saying. Right, so drive. Right, so we've got some level there on the drive. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the master back a bit, because it's going to get loud for a moment. I'm going to take the level way up, just to show you how gainy it can get, because some people have already asked me before this stream, what is it good at? Can it do rock sounds? Can it do really dirty sounds? Is it gonna do death metal? I'm gonna say that it excels at clean. It's very, very good at sort of your more kind of bluesy through dirty rock sounds. It doesn't necessarily excel at death metal stuff, but it can do this amount of drive. I mean, I've not really done that because I don't really play that kind of music, but how dirty can we get? Let's see. I could turn this gain up as well. Right. Let's see how dirty we can get. Okay. So that's kind of I think that's the extent of the dirt, and that's it's pretty dirty. That's plenty of dirt for me. I don't really use anything more than that unless somebody specifically was to like maybe hire me for a session and they wanted death. Then I might, you know. Well, for the money, obviously I would. I'd use anything they wanted. Show me the money. So then we've got a tone on the drive, so we can make the drive more brighter. And of course we can get a nice darker drive. And this I really like. If I take me knob one step further across, right, let's take that gain down there. That doesn't need to be up there. Now I can bring the master back up. Okay, now we've gone one further across and we're into fuzz territory. Now I really like fuzz. Not too much fuzz, just like when you use fuzz to get that nice brittle sound. And a fuzz pedal with a tone control is extremely helpful because fuzz can get a bit harsh. I'll just show you what I mean. Right, if I wind that up. Right, now that's too harsh, but it's got a tone control, so I can. Play there really. Okay, so fuzz, it sounds lovely, really like that. Then I'm just going to take it off for a moment while I show you the phaser. Now phasers are my favorite pedals, although I could say that when I get to each and every pedal I could say this is my favorite kind of pedal. So there we've got a nice slow phaser, which is how I tend to set it. I like the phaser kind of slow and spacey and, you know, kind of with plenty of depth on it. That's how it's set. In fact, the way this is set right now is exactly what my phaser pedal on my board looks like. So we've got the depth at 3 o'clock and the speed at 9 o'clock facing each other. Take the depth down a little, you get a slightly more hollow kind of a sound. Let's crank up the speed and just show you how drastic it can get. Like, ooh, okay. We all like a phaser who can do that. Alright, depth and speed all the way up. I don't know what that is. Right, so phaser is marvelous, it's brilliant. The tremolo is a sound that I've been getting more and more into recently, and I'm bringing up the depth of it. Okay, so the depth is how much of the tremolo is dialed into your sound. So if you've got lots of depth, then the gaps, because tremolo is the volume going up and down, so the gaps in between are more definite. there's a better word, I can't think of it. Right, so if I take the depth down, it's more of a wobble that's mixed in, right? But we like it more drastic than that. And the speed goes anywhere from here, which sounds great. You don't even need to be able to play anything. It just sounds brilliant, right? And it goes down as far as this. I love that. I've really been having a lot of fun playing with that tremolo. Okay, and then we've got delay and chorus. Let's put some delay on. The delay is very, very versatile, I have to say. Alright, so that's kind of a bit of a busy one. Let's start off with the kind of sound that you might use for a guitar solo. So you would have a lot less repeats than that. And a very short time. That's a bit too slap back there. We'll make it a bit longer than that. Let's take the width all the way up. Right, and then you just decide how much of it you're going to dial into the mix. And argue with the producer about that for an hour. What normally happens to me. Oh, magic note. It's not like it's going out live and will be, watchable on YouTube forever, is it? Dear, oh dear. Right, so I'm going to just add in some more repeats now. Make the time a bit longer. I remember what we were saying earlier, or what I was saying about those ambient guitar sounds. Lots of repeats, lots of... Right, take that down in the mix so that it now fades out. Eventually. Right, okay, and let's look at the chorus, which is the wrong colour, Dave. Oh, what was that? I suppose you'd have to say that was a B flat over A, and it did not sound good. I'm going to do it again. Not good. Okay, chorus. The chorus is my favourite pedal, and it's probably the pedal that I use more than any other as a bass player, and I've tried many chorus pedals, and the chorus pedal I favour to use live on my board is the cheapest chorus pedal I've ever used. It's a Dan Electro Cool Cat version number 2, which is blue, and it's gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. It's meant for guitar, sounds wonderful on bass. So you needed to know that, obviously. Right, so depth low, speed low, and I'm going to play a chord. And it's just rich and thick and lovely. Bit more depth. Bit more of it in the mix. And now, I like my choruses really slow, but I'm going to show you what it can do, right? We'll take it up to 12 o'clock. I want more depth. So you can hear it more. Okay, and then even more depth. Now when you turn the depth all the way up, it's kind of, the chorus is really overtaking the sound now, and that of course can be a really cool effect. I'm going to take the speed all the way up, right, so you can see just how extreme this can get. Right, now if you put some delay on that, it's insanity. You could just imagine the incredible range of experimental sounds you could get with this nice little set of pedals that, you know, kind of look, it looks very, very simple. It doesn't look like there's that much there, and that's the beauty of it, because there's so much in this little space here. I've been thinking a lot about using my iPad and apps for live guitar sound, and you know, this is something that I would definitely consider using in that context, because there is so much. Because with your iPad you've got limited real estate for your screen, and this is making great use of it. Imagine having that open and using that live. That could be a real winner. And of course, something that I almost forgot, I had a quick check earlier, and you can map controllers to all of these parameters in here. I don't have my LPD8 plugged in at the moment, but I did map my LPD8 to some of the functions. I was actually doing my gain and my master, and the delay settings with the controls on my LPD8. So you know, so that's good too, and it makes it even more usable in a live situation. So there's an insane chorus sound. Now what I need to do before I do anything else now is I need to just have a quick look at the chat and make sure I'm not missing anything important I've been asked, because I'm going to go in a few moments, because I need my dinner, and no, because Dean Daughters streams, Electronic Sounds Dean streams at 6 p.m. UK time, and I like to watch him, and I don't want to clash with him, because I wouldn't want to take any audience away from him, or you know, or have you all bugger off and leave me because he started. So so yes, I'm going to go in a couple of moments. So I'm just going to play you ever so quickly a sound I made that I think is really nice. I made that myself, you know, and I really enjoyed. I've enjoyed making quite a few quite spectacular clean sounds. So I want to say thank you all very, very much for joining me here today in this random timed stream. Thank you very, very much for being here. It's really just so, you know, just I don't know what the word is for it. It's a really nice feeling, you know, because when you stream, you always do just think, you know, I wonder if there'll be anybody there. You know, I might be just playing to myself. Won't be the first time. Anyway, so thank you all very, very much for joining me. Please do not forget to give me a thumb up. Or, you know, if you thought it was shit, then, you know, give me a thumb down. You know, I won't lose any sleep about it. And if you would be so kind as to possibly pop over to Bandcamp, maybe check out a few of my songs, and maybe perhaps have a look at the merchandise that's on offer there. You know, there's some really, really awesome, cool t-shirts. I should be wearing a Don't Piss Your Pants About t-shirt today for this stream, but in fact I'm actually wearing my DRC t-shirt because because my Don't Piss Your Pants About t-shirt stinks, frankly, because I've been wearing it for all the streams and all the videos I've made, and it was about time it had a bit of a wash before it. Yeah, it was, because this is a small room, there's no ventilator, you know, you can imagine. Anyway, right, so that's that. And yes, if you wouldn't mind popping over to Bandcamp and maybe having a bit of a nosy around at my my thing over there, and underneath the video there is a link to my Patreon, and there is a link to my website where you can find out all about what a failed rock star I am. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then please do so and ding my bell. And thank you, Teddy, who has just subscribed. What a marvellous person. Right. Okay, so once again, thank you very much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you very soon. Take care of yourselves. Be good people. Make lots of music. And don't piss your pants about.